What is up, you guys? My name is Aubrey and this is my channel, and today we're going to be talking about some of your frequently asked questions. Over the last few days, I asked you guys to submit some of your questions that you had for me, and today we're going to be breaking down those questions and I'm going to be giving you guys answers to them. So let's get started. So let's just dig right into it. Over the last few days, I've asked you guys to submit some of your frequently asked questions. I've asked y'all to ask me some of the questions that you've had regarding things like stimulus content, business, investing, and more. And that's what I want to do today. I want to address some of those questions that you guys had. Well, one of the questions that I got quite a lot is in regards to the PPP program, or the Paycheck Protection Program. And this question was basically along the lines of, I submitted a PPP application with X banking institution and I haven't heard anything back from them. What should I do? Well, there are kind of two different schools of thoughts here. Number one is that sometimes if you haven't heard anything back, it could mean that you were denied. A lot of banking institutions, especially online banking institutions, are not very good at sending denial notices. So if you're able to contact the bank or log into a portal on the bank's website, I would encourage you to do that and to see what the status of your application is. If your bank has denied you, then you have 30 days to submit a kind of reconsideration and an appeal for that. I did actually just recently do a video on that topic, so I will link that down in the description below. So that is one path that you can go down. But alternatively, if you find out that you weren't denied the loan, your application just simply hasn't been addressed yet, then I would encourage you to stay on top of the bank. I mean, I'm a big proponent of calling these people on a daily or every other day basis to really make sure that they do not forget about my loan and that my loan does not fall through the cracks. I know that some of you guys watching this may think that that's overkill and that's inconsiderate to the people working, but I just think when it comes to PPP or just really stimulus loans in general, I have heard so many stories of people that have fallen through the cracks and their loans are simply never addressed and they never hear back anything from it. And I think a really easy way to prevent that from happening for you and your funds is to simply stay on top of the bank. Make it so annoying for them that they have no choice but to address your loan on a nearly daily basis. If you stay on top of your bank, then you should hear some sort of answer. Whether or not that answer is going to be one that you're happy with remains to be seen, but at least you'll hear something one way or the other. So I would encourage you, step one, either log into your website portal or contact your bank and ask for the status of your application. Do not wait to hear from them. Contact them first. The next question that I got is on the topic of health insurance and when should young people look at getting health insurance for themselves? Now, really, I think that this is dependent on a number of different factors, including how much money you make, including where you work, including what type of avenues you have available to you for health insurance. I probably am not the best person to ask this question because of the fact that I don't have health insurance myself. I was fortunate enough to be on my parents' plan until I was 26. I've been self-employed my entire career, so I've never had access to a corporate structured health insurance. So I was able to stay on my parents' plan until I was 26. I'm now 27 and a half and I've since been kicked off. And so I've been health insurance-less for about a year. But the thing is that health insurance is extremely expensive. And for me, my reason for not having it isn't because I can't afford it, but it's more so that I can't justify the cost, especially considering I don't have any medical issues. And so for me, being a healthy 27-year-old female, it would have cost $250 a month with an $8,000 deductible. That was one of the lowest plans that they had. And I just don't go to the doctor enough to justify that. I feel like I have pretty good health habits. I take care of my teeth. I take care of everything that needs to be taken care of. And so for me, I just simply didn't want to justify that cost. I am engaged, and so I will go on to my fiance's plan once we get married. And so that's probably when I will get health insurance, is when I can get it through his job. But until then, I'll probably remain health insurance-less. The fact is that America does not make it easy and affordable for entrepreneurs and self-employed people to get health insurance, and that has certainly affected me and the reason why I've decided to go without it. So, of course, it will depend on a number of factors: your job, your income, your accessibility to an insurance plan. And if you have insurance available to you through your job, I'd say go for it. But if you're like me and you don't want to spend $250 a month for a service that you never really use, I'd probably go without it. But it's of course up to you, up to how you want to roll the dice and whether or not you see that this is a risk worth taking. Another question that I've been getting a lot is the question of EIDL grants and the comment of, I just recently filled out an EIDL loan application and I filled it out for the purpose of receiving the grant, but I never received anything about the grant. I never heard anything back on that issue. And the answer to that question is the EIDL grant program actually closed over the summer of 2020, so about 6 to 8 months ago. And as of right now, the EIDL program has reopened, but it's reopened on a very targeted and very limited basis, which means that the majority of people who applied for the EIDL loan will not be eligible for the EIDL grant in the second round of EIDL grant funding. The only way that you can receive EIDL grant funding sitting now and today of February 2021 is if the SBA contacts you directly and says that you are eligible for the targeted cash advance. This is the only way that you're able to get it. There is no official application process. There is no letter of reconsideration process. You can still apply for the loan, and that application for the loan is still live on the SBA's website, but this is only for the loan and you do have to pay that back. This is not for the grant. This is not for the free money portion of the program. This is simply for the loan, which has to be paid back. So the answer to that question is, well, why haven't you heard anything about the grant? And that's because you didn't apply for the grant, you applied for the loan. At one point in time, the grant application and the loan application were combined into one application. That is simply not the case any longer. On that same topic, the question of if you received EIDL funding over the summer and you're wanting to receive more funds through the second round of EIDL grant funding, what do you need to do in order to get that? What do you need to do in order to initiate that process? And on a similar note, the answer is nothing. If you are eligible, the SBA will contact you. If you are not eligible, you simply will not be contacted, and there's nothing that you can or should do in order to initiate this process. You simply have to wait and see. If you're interested in seeing if you do qualify for the EIDL grant, I do have a really great resource with some of my friends over at Hello Skip. If you follow the link down in my description below, you can go over to their EIDL grant tracker, and there you can see if you are eligible for the EIDL grant in the second round. And so that is a great way to be able to say, okay, will I get this EIDL grant or will I not get it? And that will be able to answer a lot of your questions. So definitely check out Hello Skip for that. Another question I got is on the topic of a bachelor's degree, and does a bachelor's degree help you in financial success? And I'm a firm believer that it doesn't. I think that this is definitely a question that I'm probably a bit biased in because I did not get a bachelor's degree. I didn't get any college degree at all. And I think that the answer to this question is yes and no. There's no doubt that getting a bachelor's degree and being college educated helps in financial success. I mean, study after study has shown that generations of poverty can be changed in an instant once somebody in that generational pool gets a college education. And you may have generations of people that are living below the poverty line, but then you have one generation of college educated kids, and then that changes the course of history forever. This is something that has been proven and has been shown in studies. So I can't sit here and say, no, I don't think it has any sort of contribution to financial success, because studies would directly prove that otherwise. But I don't think that having a college education is the only way to obtain financial success. I would also argue it's probably not the best way to obtain financial success. I think the fact is that your financial success has so many different factors into it, and college education and getting a bachelor's degree is certainly one of those factors. But I think that there are a number of different, more important factors at play as well. Number one is, what type of degree did you get and how much debt did you go in getting that degree? Because if you're getting a degree that has, an average salary of $30,000 per year or $40,000 per year, that degree probably isn't contributing a whole lot to your financial success. Whereas on the flip side, if you got a degree in a field that can pay you $200K per year or $300K per year or even $100K per year, yeah, of course, I think that degree absolutely had an effect on your financial success. Additionally, and another really important note is the fact that a college degree doesn't automatically mean financial success. It's not like somebody gets a bachelor's degree and then a light switch flicks on and then they're all of a sudden fiscally responsible. That unfortunately isn't how it works. And we see this all the time. I mean, all of us have seen stories and know of people who make 6 figures per year, and yet they still live paycheck to paycheck. And this is because of the fact that having a bachelor's degree or making good money does not mean that you're good with money. It doesn't mean that you're fiscally responsible and financially disciplined. And so I would argue something that's almost more important than a bachelor's degree, and if it's not more important, it certainly is as equally as important, is having an understanding of the foundational financial issues, being financially financially literate is so incredibly important. And that is what will really attribute to your financial success more than a bachelor's degree, in my opinion. I think a bachelor's degree is a tool to become financially successful, but it is not the like end all be all factor that leads to financial success. That is financial discipline, financial literacy, and understanding how to manage your finances and to do so responsibly. The next question I got is on the topic of online side businesses for people who are collecting Social Security benefits. What are some good online businesses that somebody in this position could pursue? And the specific person that asked this question had suggested that they were exploring the idea of making videos, I assume, on YouTube in order to make some extra money. You know, when it comes to making money online with side businesses, the opportunities that are available to you are absolutely limitless. In fact, I've done so many different videos on this topic, from freelancing to building websites to transcription services and so much more. In fact, I just recently did a video on this a couple of days ago, so I will link that down in the description below if you're interested in checking it out. As far as making videos as a source of extra income, I mean, I think that YouTube and making videos can be a great source of income. It would be super hypocritical for me to say that it isn't, because at this point, YouTube is where I make the majority of my income. But I also think that with YouTube specifically, it's important to keep in mind that you can't go into YouTube with the expectation that you're going to have an automatic source of income from those videos. The fact is, with YouTube, it does take a while to gain traction. In my case, I started making videos in January of 2020. I didn't make a single dollar from those videos until June of 2020. So up until that point, I had dedicated 30 hours a week for 6 months before making a single dollar. And for me, I think that that's fairly fast for a YouTuber. I know of a lot of YouTubers who have been doing YouTube for years and have yet to make a single dollar from it. And so I think it's important to enter YouTube with the idea of, hey, I like making videos. This is something I'm passionate about, and any money I make is just added bonus. I would discourage anybody from entering YouTube with the expectation of immediately making money, because I think that that's where you can get discouraged and then you'll ultimately end up quitting. If you go into YouTube with the expectation of pursuing something you're passionate about, something that you enjoy doing, then absolutely. And I think if that's the case, you could definitely make some money off of it with some consistency and with some views to your videos. But it does take time, it does take dedication, it does take consistency. So as a sole source of income, probably not a great idea, but as like an extra side income with money that you just want to make just for the sake of making it, absolutely a great plan. But with that being said, you guys, I hope that this answered some of your questions. If you guys want me to do these types of videos more often, then leave a comment down below and I can start making this a semi-regular thing, maybe once a month or once every few weeks. But like always, I would love to hear your thoughts. If you have any questions, if you have any comments, if you have anything to add, make sure to leave a comment down below. And while you guys are at it, make sure to hit the like button, hit that subscribe button, and hit that notification bell. And I will see you guys in the next video.